Steven Spielberg watched The Incredible Hulk one night in 1978. He tried to sue. He couldn't. Universal owned both productions. The contract clause he negotiated after that became standard in Hollywood. The truck that did it, the backup, the one sent home before the cliff scene, the one that wasn't supposed to survive, is currently in North Carolina. Its owner bent its horn to match the one that went over the edge. Duel began as a television film, produced by Universal Television and aired as part of the ABC Movie of the Week series on November 13, 1971. The screenplay was written by Richard Matheson, adapting his own short story. The premise was almost insultingly simple. A traveling salesman driving through rural California is chased by a truck. The driver is never shown. The truck's motive is never explained. Spielberg, in what he called an audition, viewed a number of trucks before selecting his villain. He chose the Peterbilt 281 over contemporary flat-nosed cab-over trucks. The long hood, the split windshield, and the round headlights gave it what he described as a face. He also noted that the multiple license plates mounted on the front bumper subtly suggested the truck driver was a serial killer who had run down other drivers in other states. Between each setup, crew members were tasked with making the truck progressively uglier, adding oil, grease, and fake dead insects to its surfaces. The Universal presented to Spielberg was a 1957 Peterbilt 281. It had a 1674 270 horsepower Cat inline-6, a repowered unit given that engine didn't arrive until the mid-1960s. It ran a 10-speed Fuller transmission. Principal photography began on September 13, 1971, and lasted 13 days, 3 longer than scheduled. Much of the filming took place in and around Canyon Country, Agua Dulce Canyon, and Acton, California, on Sierra Highway, Agua Dulce Canyon Road, and Angeles Forest Highway. A single truck was used for the original filming, followed. During rehearsals, the Cat engine in the original 1957 Peterbilt 281 began giving the production problems. A backup truck, a 1960 Peterbilt 281, was built up in case the original didn't make it to the end of the shoot. On the last day of filming, the backup was taken off the production, leaving only one truck to complete the final scene. The original truck that was featured in most of the film was the 1957 Pete with the Cat engine. The backup was an exact copy, but it was a 1960 model with a Cummins. The only real difference between the two trucks were the air cleaners, which is, according to the truck's subsequent owner, painfully obvious if you watch the movie today. The backup truck went back to George Sachs' property in Agua Dulce, where it remained for the next 3 decades. The television broadcast was a success. Universal, recognizing what it had, wanted a theatrical release, but the film ran 74 minutes, which was too short for international cinema distribution. Universal had Spielberg spend 2 days filming new scenes to expand the film to 90 minutes. The additional sequences included Mann's telephone conversation with his wife, the encounter with the broken-down school bus, and the confrontation at the railroad crossing. Since the original truck was at the bottom of a canyon, a third truck was sourced. This truck was a 1962 Peterbilt 351 with the same 260 horsepower Cat engine and Fuller transmission as the original, capable of reaching similar top speeds. It was used to film the additional theatrical scenes. These additional scenes were shot with a Peterbilt 351 modified to match the original 281 as closely as possible. The needle nose designation, the narrow nose and butterfly hood that defined the 281-351 line, made the two models visually interchangeable on screen when properly dressed. The audience didn't need to know, they just needed to believe it was the same truck. The 1962 Peterbilt 351 used for the theatrical editions was later destroyed in another production. Which production and what that destruction involved is not documented in any publicly available record. It went to work and it didn't come back. That is everything that's known. Meanwhile, Universal still had the backup truck sitting in Agua Dulce, and Universal still had the footage from Duel. In 1978, a production team working on a CBS television series about The Incredible Hulk series was produced by Universal and CBS. Series creator Kenneth Johnson had been working on ways to bring cinematic scale to the television production while keeping costs within the budget constraints of weekly episodic television. Universal's film library was available to him as stock footage. Johnson recalled his familiarity with Duel's source material. He had read Richard Matheson's story before Spielberg directed it, and over the years, the backup truck was requested from time to time for commercial and entertainment productions. Mostly, it just sat in George Sack's yard. Its last job before being found by its eventual buyer was a cameo in the 2003 motorcycle action film Torque, released in January of 2004. Between its departure from the Duel production in 1971 and that Torque appearance, the truck had accumulated a quiet but documented second career. The truck lost its Duel makeup to appear in David Lee Roth's 1994 music video, She's My Machine, shot in Malibu, California. It was readorned in its Duel makeup for the Torque cameo in 2003. At some point in between, it was also stripped and repainted to appear in a Chevrolet Malibu commercial. Think about what that record means. The truck that was built as an unnamed backup for a production where it barely appeared spent 30 years serving as a general-purpose industrial prop, stripped, repainted, restored, stripped again, while the film it was tangentially connected to was cementing its reputation as one of the most influential directorial debuts in American cinema history. Spielberg went on to make Jaws, Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Schindler's List. The backup truck sold cars and appeared in a Van Halen singer's music video and then a forgettable biker film. In 2003, Neil Lasasso found it. Neil Lasasso had been a fan of Duel all of his life. He had been afraid of this specific truck since watching the film as a child and never entirely stopped thinking about it. He eventually learned that the backup truck still existed, still in Sack's yard, still in California. He looked for it. When he found it and when it started, he sold his new motorcycle to buy the truck. He took it home to Southern California and regularly drove it on the streets and highways, not for work the way he'd once driven trucks professionally, but for pleasure, for the reaction it got from other drivers who recognized it and pulled over. The truck appeared in the January 2004 issue of Truck Trends and the May 2004 issue of 10-4 magazine while Lasasso owned it. It was featured at the American Truck Historical Society's convention in California in 2004, where it drew people who had seen the film in 1971 and had spent decades assuming the truck was gone. Lasasso sold the truck to Dan Bruno in 2004. Bruno sold it in 2009 to Brad Wyke, a fleet operator and truck collector from Lincolnton, North Carolina, who was already the custodian of the Convoy Mac and would become the organizer of the Southern Classic Truck Show where multiple famous trucks gather annually. Wyke did something specific when he got the backup truck. He restored it toward the appearance of the original, the one that went over the cliff, correcting the air cleaners and other details that differed between the two trucks. He even bent the replacement horn to match the configuration of the horn visible in the film before the final scene. He keeps the truck parked beside a matching 1970 Plymouth Valiant and drives both to his annual show. The backup truck, in other words, is now being maintained to resemble the original. The surviving one is dressed as the one that was destroyed. The copy has been made to look like the real thing. There is something in that worth sitting with. The original 1957 Peterbilt, the one Spielberg chose, the one with the face, went over a cliff and was destroyed in a single take. It was recovered the day last documented use was in the film that expanded Duel from 74 minutes to 90. After that, nothing. 4 trucks built around the same basic design, the needle nose, the narrow-nosed butterfly hood Peterbilt that Spielberg chose for its face, across 3 productions and 7 years. And the one that survives is the one that wasn't there for the most famous scene, the one that was dismissed on the last day, the one that went back to the yard while the original went over, the one that had chased Dennis Weaver across the California desert and driven off a cliff at the end. Except it wasn't quite his truck. The original had been sold for parts the day after it was destroyed. What he was looking at was footage Universal owned of something he had created, spliced together with new footage of a different Peterbilt that had never appeared in his film, to make a television episode that cost less because it didn't have to build its action from scratch. He couldn't sue. He made sure it would never happen again. Changed things after it was over. Not when it was in front of the camera. After. The R281 351 line remained in production until 1976, when it was retired after a 22-year run. The design it represented, narrow nose, butterfly hood, round headlights, the face that Spielberg saw in a lineup on a Universal lot in 1971, is not in production anymore. The trucks that still exist are what there is. The backup truck is in North Carolina. Brad Wyke drives it to shows. He bends its horn to match a truck that was destroyed in a single take in 1971, and he parks it next to a Plymouth Valiant, and people who saw the film 50 years ago come and stand in front of it and remember what it felt like to be scared of something with no face and no reason and no name. It was never supposed to survive. It survived anyway. That tends to be the story.